As we reach the climax of today's parade, the Kingston and Malden Scout and Guide Band bring us right up to date with some of the biggest hits of the last few years, followed as usual by our energetic and outstanding Royal Academy dancers.
And so we are bang up to date now, and we can hear the wonderful music that is being played, and the dancing continues. We've got the Royal Navy Household Cavalry Regiment, the Royal Lancers, the Royal Scots Dragoon Guards, the Grenadier Guards, the Scots Guards, and the Corps of Royal Engineers. The Queen, of course, is Sovereign and Commander-in-Chief of the British Armed Forces. She joined the Auxiliary Territorial Service in 1945, becoming the first female member of the royal family to be a full-time active member of the armed forces.
You will see some familiar characters on the mall from the world of children's literature. We have the Gruffalo, Percy Pig is there, and the two giant figures at the back representing school children.
What a scene it is in the Mall, and one of the people that is right in the thick of it for us is Chris.
Yes, I'm going to take you back to the 1990s. I'm just going to back step a few yards and catch up with Linda Marie, who's representing the British Red Cross. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
So what do you do, Linda Marie, for them?
So I work on a project called Inspired Action, which is all about engaging more young people into volunteering. So it's absolutely brilliant.
It is absolutely brilliant. We're just approaching Buckingham Palace. Have you ever been here before?
Yes, I have, yeah. I actually attended the Buckingham Palace Garden Party about 2 years ago, the same day today, so it's really exciting for me to do that.
As a guest, or were you working?
As a guest,
oh,
yeah.
How fantastic. And you go to events like this, obviously working as well, don't you?
Yes, so I'm also a British Red Cross volunteer, so in my work I'm lucky enough to work for them and volunteer for them, so it's really an organisation that I'm really passionate about, so I'm really kind of lucky to represent them today at the Patron lunch. Yeah.
Linda Marie, enjoy your walk in front of Buckingham Palace. Thank you for talking to me.
There, of course, is the Gruffalo, and which of us in the last 15 or 20 years who as children has not become very familiar with that wonderful character? I should say that along with Katie Nicholl, I've also been rejoined by Will.i.am and by the author of Warhorse and so many other books besides that, Michael Morpurgo. So welcome to you, Michael. Children's literature, we're seeing there the Gruffalo, which we believe, I think I'm right in saying Katie Nicholl is one of George's favourites.
You are right.
For any kid right now, but the central role of children's literature, which we're seeing being celebrated up the Mall this morning as part of the parade, this afternoon as part of the parade, central to British culture, central to British life.
It has been. It's been. I don't say we invented it. Of course we didn't. Aesop's Fables goes back a little longer. But somehow it's one of those things for the last 250 years this country has excelled in. We somehow produce these wonderful storytellers and someone who can create a Gruffalo. Well, where did that come from in the middle of the night? It's the most wonderful creature. For a parent to read a story like that to a child who's young, go to bed comforted by that, loving that creature, and then growing up and you move on to the next book and the next book. It's been wonderful.
Now, will.i.am, we were chatting to you earlier, and of course you performed, people will remember it, back in 2012. It was the Diamond Jubilee, and you've been listening to, a great variety of music here today, different sorts of music in a parade. What's been the quality of the music? What stood out for you?
Well, the bands have been amazing. So, especially nowadays with so much disposable music made on computers, to see bands marching and playing music and musicians, loving their instrument in front of people, it's amazing.
You can't beat it, really, can you? The sound of a live band. And there's the Gruffalo waving again. He's not really so scary in real life, is he? Waving to the crowds. Let's go back to Claire. What is that? You might well ask, but I'm sure you're with the right person. Peter Phillips, who's organised today's parade, will be able to tell you, Your Majesty, precisely what it is. But we're just enjoying the pictures, enjoying the scene, and indeed, given that it was pouring with rain for about 3 hours this morning, enjoying the fact that we've got some sunshine and even a light breeze today in the centre of London to enjoy this 90th birthday parade. Michael Morpurgo, might I ask you, have you been out in among the crowds today? Have you been associating?
I've just come up from outside.
You've come straight to us.
Rushed to my hamper, which was very important to me.
Yes.
And then into here.
will.i.am, did you have a hamper?
Coming in?
Did you have a hamper, a picnic hamper?
Yeah, I had one, but it was raining, so I stayed in the tent and snacked away.
Did you eat the pork pie and piccalilli?
No, I didn't.
No, I was sort of guessing you didn't. It's a uniquely British delicacy.
Yeah.
I would try to persuade you to try, but actually you might hate it, so I wouldn't bother. I think now we're going to go to Claire Balding. Claire, are you there? In fact, it's Chris. I beg your pardon. Chris Hollins. I wouldn't ever confuse you with Claire Balding.
A poor man's Claire Balding. I'm sorry about that. I've been joined by the Scouts Association. I'm just going to drop back and make sure I don't go out of step and speak to Claire here. Sorry, Claire, I'm putting you out of step there.
Oh, it's okay.
Now, you have the highest accolade for a Scout. What is that?
The Queen's Scout Award.
And what did you win that for?
You had to do an arrangement of different activities, different challenges, ranging from a certain amount of nights away right the way through to an expedition and residential. You had to complete that over a certain time period up until the age of 25, and then you got to achieve the award.
And you've met the Queen, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. I met her in 2012 when I was allowed to go to Windsor.
Well, enjoy. You're just about to see the Queen again. Have a good one.
Thank you very much.
Michael Morpurgo, as we know, there are people who've been getting in touch with us on social media today to tell us about their celebrations. It's interesting just looking at that shot of London and the vista of it. Of course, people are celebrating all around the country, but there is something about our capital city, especially when the cloud breaks and the blue sky comes through, that is a unique backdrop for the nation to enjoy such a celebration.
Well, yes, and just as she is, they go together. I mean, we know her, we associate her with here and certainly with Windsor, but she is very much associated with that palace up the road and this place. And I think it's very difficult if we're all members, we're all citizens, we're all subjects, and she lives at the heart of it. This is our capital, and she's at the heart of our capital, as it should be.
Yes. Let's go over to Mel, who's with somebody who has really been enjoying today's proceedings. Mel.
Hello there. I'm going to speak quite loudly because there's a very, very large amount of brass behind us, but I'm with the lovely Vicky Michelle. Hello, Vicky.
Hi, darling.
It's so nice to see you. I love your hat.
Thank you. It's to stop the rain. It doubles an umbrella.
It's done both extremely well.
Yes.
Now, Vicky, you're heavily involved with the Royal Variety Charity, aren't you? So what does the Queen mean to you?
Oh, she's amazing. I mean, she's been our patron since 1952, and she's been to over 39 performances of the Royal Charity Show, which is one of our biggest fundraisers.
Yes.
And it's so important. She's just, well, I'm just in awe of her and the amount of work she does and how long that she's represented our charity.
This isn't the first street party you've been to, is it, Vicky?
No. Actually, in 1952, the coronation.
1952.
I was very tiny,
Yes.
very small. I was very young, but I remember it because everyone was so excited, like today.
It's really lovely to see you. Thank you so much for talking, Vicky.
Oh, thank you.
Have a great day.
Oh, thank you.
Back to Kirsty.
Thank you to Vicky and thank you to Mel. And it is worth saying, Katie Nicholl, Michael Morpurgo and will.i.am, that this is a sort of moment when, yes, we're celebrating Her Majesty's birthday, but also Katie Nicholl, it's a sort of collective moment to look and reflect. Look and reflect at what has happened to Britain in those 9 decades that the Queen has been on this earth.
A challenge to cram it all into a 30-minute parade as well. I mean, I think, you know, Peter's done very well, as has Alla Lloyd. We haven't mentioned her, but she was very involved with the opening ceremony for the Olympics, and together they've done it, actually.
will.i.am, we're so used to seeing you judging people and performances. If I was to ask you to give out of 10, just briefly, what would you give today's parade so far?
Today's parade was 10 because of I love the Scottish. The Scottish were amazing.
And we've got